لقد أرسلنا نوحا إلى قومه فقال يا قوم اعبدوا الله ما لكم من إله غيره إني أخاف عليكم عذاب يوم عظيم.
We sent Noah to his people. He said, O my people, worship God. You have no God other than him. I fear for you the punishment of a tremendous day.
قال الملأ من قومه إنا لنراك في ضلال مبين.
The dignitaries among his people said, We see that you are in obvious error.
قال يا قوم ليس بي ضلالة ولكني رسول من رب العالمين.
He said, O my people, I am not in error, but I am a messenger from the Lord of the worlds.
أبلغكم رسالات ربي وأنصح لكم وأعلم من الله ما لا تعلمون.
I deliver to you the messages of my Lord, and I advise you, and I know from God what you do not know.
أوعجبتم أن جاءكم ذكر من ربكم على رجل منكم لينذركم ولتتقوا ولعلكم ترحمون.
Do you wonder that a reminder has come to you from your Lord, through a man from among you, to warn you, and to lead you to righteousness, so that you may attain mercy?
فكذبوه فأنجيناه والذين معه في الفلك وأغرقنا الذين كذبوا بآياتنا إنهم كانوا قوما عمين.
But they called him a liar. So we saved him and those with him in the ark, and we drowned those who rejected our revelations. They were blind people.
In the name of Allah, the most merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, and may He send His peace and blessings on His final messenger, Muhammad. In today's short presentation, I'm going to present some facts from the life of one of the 5 greatest messengers who were ever sent to their people. And these 5 messengers were Noah, Abraham, Moses, Jesus, the son of Mary, and Muhammad. Today we're going to talk about the life of Noah, or Nuh in Arabic. And the story of Noah is one of the most well-known stories that most people have at least heard of, although most people disbelieve or don't believe that it actually happened, or they may have doubts that it actually happened. But believing that this story actually happened is mandatory in order to have faith, in order to be a believer. You have to believe in the story of Noah. And this separates the believers from the disbelievers. So Noah, he was sent to a people who were worshiping idols. And his people were the first people who worshiped idols. Before his people worshiped idols, everyone used to worship only one God, Allah. From the time of Adam until the time of Noah, there was only one God worshipped. There was only one religion, and it was worshiping Allah alone. And then there were 5 great men, 5 pious men who used to live in the time of Noah, or shortly before the time of Noah. And their names were Wad, Yaghuth, Ya'uq, Nasr, and Suwa. So these 5 pious men, after they died, Iblis or Satan came to the people and said, why don't you worship, or why don't you make statues of these people just to remember them by? And that's what they did. They made statues of these 5 pious men. They didn't worship them, they just made them for remembrance. But after this generation died, the next generation, they didn't know the origin of these idols, so they started to worship them. And that's how idol worship began. So Allah sent Noah to his people to tell them to worship Allah alone and to leave idol worship. But his people rejected him. They refused to listen to him, and they were arrogant and they were stubborn to change their ways. So Noah remained calling them to worship Allah alone for 950 years. So Noah is the longest living messenger who was ever sent to his people. He lived for at least 950 years calling his people to the truth, to worship Allah alone, to Islam. So his people used to mock him and make fun of him and say he was crazy, and they resorted to all types of tactics because they did not want to worship Allah and listen to their messenger. So Noah, he remained patient for those 950 years, calling them to worship Allah. He will call them openly, he will call them in secret, he'll call them by night, by day, using all types of ways to try to influence them to worship Allah. But it was to no avail. Only a very small number of people actually believed in Noah. So when Noah despaired of his people ever worshiping Allah, he made supplication to Allah that Allah would destroy these disbelievers and not leave not even one of them on the face of the earth. And Allah responded to the supplication of Noah, and he said, he gave orders to Noah to construct a huge ship. And he said, once the signs of the punishment comes, to load onto the ship you, yourself, your family, the believers who believe in you, and a pair of every animal and creature on earth. So this is what Noah did. He built the ship, and the people would mock him and say, why are you building a ship in the middle of a desert? And he would continue building the ship, and he had tremendous faith in Allah. And in the end, once the rain started to descend from the sky and the water started to spring from the earth, he gathered everyone onto the ship. And all of his family believed in him and boarded the ship, except for one wife and one son who disbelieved. So everyone, including his disbelieving wife and son, drowned. Everyone on the face of the earth. The water reached so high, it reached above the top, the peaks of the mountains. That's how high the water reached. So no one was able to survive who was not on the ship. So everyone on the face of the earth drowned except for Noah and the believers who were in the ship. Once Allah had drowned all of the disbelievers on the face of the earth, and he told the sky to withhold its rain, and he told the earth to swallow up the water, And then the ship of Noah came to rest on the mountain called Judi. When Noah and his family came down from the ship along with the believers, only the offspring of Noah survived. Meaning he had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Only their offspring survived. So everyone on the face of the earth now is from the offspring of those 3 sons of Noah. So that's a brief summary of the life of Noah. And actually, in the story of Noah, there's a common theme that from the time of Noah until this day was a recurring theme. A prophet was sent, or a messenger was sent to his people, and the people rejected that messenger and refused to believe in him and refused to believe in his message, which was always to worship Allah alone. But the people, in some way or form, always preferred to worship the creation. Something of the creation, whether it was an idol or a person or a star or a tree or an animal, they always somehow preferred to worship the creation. And the messenger would always come and tell them to worship the creator. And even to this very day, most people worship in some way or form the creation. But they have some rationale that makes it seem like what they're doing is good and correct. So if someone finds it hard to believe that so many people would disbelieve in their messenger, then the only thing they would have to do is to look at the state of the people, the majority of the people who live nowadays. Most people reject the messenger, the final messenger, Muhammad, peace be upon him. And they have some excuse or some reason for them not believing in him. And they have some excuse for not worshiping Allah alone, and instead worshiping the creation in some way or form. And they don't believe in the reality of the punishment of Allah until it's too late. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said on the day of resurrection, Allah will ask Noah, "Did you convey the message to your people?" And he will say yes. And then Allah will ask Noah's people, "Did Noah convey the message to you?" And they will say, "No, no messenger was sent to us." So then Allah will say to Noah, Who do you have to witness that you conveyed the message to your people?" So then Noah will say, "Prophet Muhammad and his followers." This will conclude the presentation on Noah, the first messenger who was sent to mankind. May Allah increase us in knowledge and in faith, and may He protect us from disbelief and associating partners with Allah. And as always, thank you for listening.